John Landis, Steven Spielberg, Joe Dante, and George Miller are going to take you into another dimension. A dimension which lies between the pit of man's hatred and the summit of man's hope.
This old man still has a little magic left in him. And if you believe, I can promise to make you all feel like children.
A dimension of incredible power. A dimension of unbelievable terror. It is an area which is called the Twilight Zone.
Scare me.
Twilight Zone, the movie, on Showtime.
What happened is on July 23rd, 1982, a Bell UH-1 Iroquois helicopter crashed at Indian Dunes. That's in Valencia, California, not far from Six Flags Magic Mountain. The helicopter ended up going down because what happens is there were explosions going off all along, different areas of the set. The helicopter was hovering 25 feet above Vic Morrow and the two child actors. What happens is the rotor tail ends up getting, incinerated by one of these, flaming fireballs, brings it spiraling down. And basically Vic Morrow, the two child actors, which is Micah Din Lee and Renee Shin Yi Chin, they were on the ground. And I'm going to spare you the gruesome details, but they were all killed.
Benet's Bloody Bits.
Welcome to Triple B. My name is Jason Benet. I'm at the Severin Films website. They have an exciting announcement. I'm going to go right into it. They are releasing a box set. It's Antonio Margheriti and the Jungles of Doom, his 80s adventure films. So we have 3 4K UHD films in a limited edition collection slipcase. The artwork is exactly what you would expect from a film that is basically a ripoff of the Indiana Jones series, even down to the fonts. Look at the logo, the artwork. This is how you do it without getting in trouble, without getting possibly sued. I don't know how that works. I don't think you could trademark font, but here we go. We have, for more than 4 decades, Antonio Margheriti was a maestro of Gothic horror, westerns, giallo, sci-fi, and beyond. And in the immediate wake of Raiders of the Lost Ark, Margheriti directed 3 over-the-top action adventure films that can only be described as Indiana Jones exploitation. You have Hunters of the Golden Cobra with David Warbeck and John Steiner. You have Warbeck and Steiner return in the Ark of the Sun God. And then the final film is Jungle Raiders. So these, I know, have been in the works for a while with Severin. Let's look at the artwork a little bit better here. There's Jungle Raiders, the Hunters of the Golden Cobra, with the great David Warbeck from Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. There he is again. Let's look at some of the screen grabs. These look like campy fun. Nice escapism. A lot of films after Raiders of the Lost Ark came out, try to capitalize on it. To a lesser degree, movies like Romance in the Stone and its sequel, The Jewel of the Nile. But I have a tough love with the Indiana Jones films. So let's look at those before we go to these spaghetti ripoffs. I really feel like there's only 3 Indiana Jones films. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That trilogy there is perfect. I think it's like the original Star Wars trilogy. It's kind of hard to top and untouchable. And unfortunately, years later, we did get 2 sequels that are really hard. They're tough watch. They're hard to get through. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. You just feel like the heart's not there. The scripts were not good. Harrison Ford just looks like he's chugging along, and it's not. You could just see people are there for kind of a paycheck. It didn't feel like it didn't have that feel. It's missing that soul. It's gone. They do feel like soulless films. I don't think it helps that the original films were practical effects and the last two films were in the digital age where the CGI just ruins everything and it looks smeared like Vaseline is on the screen. It just doesn't feel authentic. These films, though not great, their heart's in the right place. They know what they are. They know that they're a takeoff, a spin-off, a cash grab on the Indiana Jones films, in particular Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is probably one of the greatest, not just films of all time, it's one of the greatest action films ever made. I mean, it's that good of a film, probably one of Spielberg's best. You could argue Jaws, Close Encounters, Jurassic Park, but that 1981, that just felt right. Everything about Raiders of the Lost Ark just, it's like comfort food. You can go back and watch it now, and it's aged gracefully. It doesn't feel like it's a 40-plus-year-old film. It's just perfection. But I'm going to grab these three films, but there's the option of just picking them up on Blu-ray, which are better priced. I don't need everything in 4K. I've talked about that before. If that's the only option I have, and it's a 4K and Blu-ray combo, I'll go ahead and pick it up and I'll put on the 4K. I have a 4K player, but I'm okay with Blu-ray. Severin, I looked at Amazon already, and there's an option. You can buy them on 4K, all three, or separately on Blu-ray. I'm going to do Blu-ray. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. There's a lot of clapping and chattering about certain films not getting 4K, and it's not that big of a deal for me. I guess as somebody who grew up on, VHS, pan and scan, not the best looking picture quality, no extra features. I remember in the 90s when certain films, especially Italian horror films, weren't available on disc or, DVD or even Blu-ray, picking up VHS, Japanese, VHS bootlegs transfer from Japanese Laserdisc, with the subtitles at the bottom and not perhaps the best picture quality, but I was getting to watch a film by any other way. So I'm excited for these. They'll be coming soon from Severin Films. You can pre-order them on Amazon. That's kind of where I'm going to do it. The prices on Severin's website and the shipping is always a little bit shady to me. I think they do take advantage of fans. Not all the others do it the way they do. So I'm going to stick to Amazon. You might be saying, well, why give Jeff Bezos your money and not David Gregory? Well, it's my money. I have to be careful with it. As a physical media collector, I've learned where to get things for the best buck. Now, it's not always necessarily directly through these labels' websites. There's, Diabolic or Orbit or there's other options. So anyways, just want to talk about these Indiana Jones exploitation films. David Warbeck, I've always enjoyed him as an actor, specifically from Lucio Fulci's great film, The Beyond. I always thought that The House by the Cemetery was better, but The Beyond is number two. But I like David Warbeck. He's kind of like that regular guy, kind of like gives me that MacGyver feel, just a regular dude that you can root for. But thank you guys for watching, and talk to you soon.